Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the 14th race on calendar here for Division 3, and it's taking place at the Circuit Barcelona Catalunya here in Spain. 16 corners make up this 4.6-kilometer circuit, 9 of them to the right, 7 of them to the left. 2 DRS zones here with the biggest opportunity for overtaking being the DRS on the pit straight, which is one of the longest in the Formula 1. Big points battle here in Division 3, hotspot on the call, the penultimate round of Season 8. So once more then, your starting grid for the Spanish Grand Prix here. It's Electric Blade, 93X on pole. Front row lockout for Alpine team, Slayer Eyes in second. Second row lockout for the Mercedes team, identical on time, is Johnny Damon and Cynical. Call Me Maybe 5th, Ray Ray 6th, Soy Loco 7th. Brian Mosser 8th, 9th is DJ Knickknack, 10th Noganator, 11th is Jorday, 12th Canuckles, 13th Pork Chops, 14th Gabaguy, 15th Dead Text Message, and unfortunately for Alex and Jose Miguel, the two Alfa Romeo drivers, they've had a qualifying session to forget. Alex DNF'd, and Jose Miguel was disqualified after getting beached going through turn 3. So a lot of work for the Alfa Romeo team, and I tell you what, this one is going to be exciting. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, 20 seconds to go until the penultimate formation lap of the season. Here in Division 3, lights remind you, Midwest F1 brought to you by Raze Energy, Epos Audio, and Sim Racer Coin. This one is going to be a largely important battle here for several Division 3 contenders. Oh, man. Not really sure about tires either. That's going to be the thing. Well, it says 14 to 19. Medium to hards is the strategy here. Do we perhaps have drivers on alternate tires? No, it's actually Ray Ray. That is the only driver who has chosen the hard compound, I believe. Yeah, I would highly doubt we see anybody on softs today. I believe, who was it? It was Call Me Maybe I saw earlier that had thrown it in the Aston Martin chat. For some reason I get notifications on that. I don't even remember why, but perhaps I was scrolling through. Let's see, what did he say? Game recommended tire life, we've got 10 for the softs, 19 for the mediums, 26 for the hards, according to Call Me Maybe, that being the Aston Martin driver currently occupying 5th. Electric Blade, the champion, on provisional pole. Well, I say provisional pole, it is pole. Slayer Eyes in second. And then, of course, the two Mercedes drivers, identical on time, occupying the second row. Can we just see one more time our battle for the promotion spots, assuming my laptop decides to exist here. Got Slayer Eyes second at 594. He's not necessarily unsafe from this promotion battle either. One bad race could spell the end of a Division 2 campaign for him next season. Pork Chops occupying the cut line here at 546. Gaba 30 points behind, 516. 38 points behind is Jorday, 508, and 39 points behind is DJ Knickknack at 507. So realistically, anybody within the top 5 of the standings able to be promoted next season. Remember, 3 drivers go up, 3 drivers come down. As Johnny Damon, interesting thing here, he has failed to get himself into the grid spot correctly here, as well as Noganator, Brian Mosser, DJ Knickknack, and Soy Loco. Jeez, a lot of drivers not necessarily getting the... I don't even know. Lights are going to be turning on here momentarily. The final Alfa Romeo lining itself up in its grid spot now. Let's see what this battle into Turn 1 has to offer. Lights coming on here in Spain, 3, 4, and eventually 5. They are off. Eventually. Now is the answer here in Division 3, and it looks like the two Alpines got away pretty simultaneously off the line. They are side by side in the first corner. Look at Cynical, he's trying it up the outside. Look at him go! Around the outside is Cynical, and he's taking the lead into the first corner. My God! What have I just witnessed? That was incredible. Meanwhile, we've got Call Me Maybe and Jose Miguel at 5-second penalties. What has happened here? Noganator up a couple spots. What has happened towards the back? We had several cars off. I believe Jorday's just taking a spin in the Haas. He's gone very slowly there, dropping down to P13. Cynical, however, takes the lead. Unbelievably spectacular fashion. It was a French wall in front of him. But he did, in my opinion, one of the better overtakes I've ever seen. He's done it cleanly as well. He didn't invalidate track limits. He's kept the car within, and by goodness, he's just pulled off one of the most brilliant maneuvers I've ever seen. Good God Almighty, that one was absolutely brilliant. There's only 2 words to describe that move: testicular fortitude from MMR Cynical. And as we start to close out the first lap here, I'm still wondering what happened between Jose Miguel and Johnny Damon, resulting in their 5-second time penalties. Remember, we had, I believe it was Johnny Damon and Call Me Maybe were off towards the back. In fact, all 3 of them, as Cynical sets the fastest lap. But we do have a car off somewhere. Coming out of the final corner, it is Gabagai. Oh, and he has lost his front wing as well. We do have a virtual safety car on track. Aye. Not ideal. And remember, Gabagai currently sits in 4th place, 30 points behind Porkchops in the battle for promotion here. And that one, I have to say, is going to be very detrimental to his promotion efforts because he is now at such a disadvantage. Porkchops, however, we have to mention again, currently sitting P11. Jorday behind him, he's in that battle as well. Big conundrum there. We got 3 cars in the pits, one of them being Alex, the other being Call Me Maybe, finally Gabagai. Johnny Damon and Jose Miguel have stayed out. They're going to choose not to get rid of their 5-second time penalties. Cynical holds the lead. He's got fastest lap as well, naturally. Does look like he might be struggling with the what do you call it here, with the Delta. Gets back into green flag. We've got Brian Mosser being overtaken at the moment by, I believe, the Haas and Noganator. Soy Loco may have just fallen down a spot. He's getting overtaken by Knuckles down to the inside as well as Noganator, so he's going to lose 2 spots in one corner there. Is the Red Bull of Soy Loco in front of him. He's still trying to look for it back to the Haas. Nearly makes contact with his right rear tire, and unfortunately for Soy Loco, it's not really going that well for him, is it? DRS, I believe, is going to be open next lap. Meanwhile, at the top of the grid, it is Electric Blade within 0.4 of a second on MMR Cynical. We have another car that's gone around. It is Brian Mosser this time, and he's done it coming out of the final corner, down the pit straight, and he's lost his front wing as well, and that is going to be hugely detrimental to him. He's going to have to go an entire lap around the circuit, minus that front wing. As it looks like, down to the inside, looks Soy Loco on the Noganator. This corner now is a flat-out corner compared to the previous games. You would have to eventually let off the gas. Soy Loco was able to hold it down to the inside there as he's looking for it. He doesn't really have much, it has to be said. There's a lot of battles going on track here. It looks like Electric Blade hunting down MMR Cynical ahead. 0.4 of a second the gap with DRS. That one's going to be helpful, but really, the DRS coming out of turn 9 isn't worth that much now. When you had the hairpin at the end of it, it was worth a little bit, but I'm afraid now it's just not that long of a straight. It's not long enough to make it work. Well, that one's going to end up on a no-context highlight video there at some point. Soy Loco still doing his best. It looks like Dead Text Message trying to find DJ Knickknack here. Remember, DJ Knickknack also in the promotion battle, trying to find the outside. Porkchop's just been overtaken by Jose Miguel. A little bit of a wiggle there for Soy Loco, and he's lost the back of the Haas. And now, DRS enabled, and I'm afraid Electric Blade doesn't have anything for Cynical at the moment. He might have to beat him out, into a corner, wait for Cynical to make the mistake. Knuckles rather hunting down his teammate. Noganator in pursuit. Everybody else has dropped back a little bit. Brian Mosser finally able to make his way back into the pits after his incident last time around. We now have, that is Dead Text Message. So the AlphaTauri team, their day going from bad to worse right quickly. Thankfully he hasn't hit anything, so he's going to be able to stay out and just get back up and going here, thankfully for him. Looks like Electric Blade really all over the back of Cynical here. Cynical better not be looking in that rear view mirror, because if he does, Cynical's Electric Blade's only going to get closer. Down the back straight into turn 10. Electric Blade has purple sector 2 at the moment, so we'd have to assume Electric Blade faster than Cynical at the moment. In towards the final chicane now. 0.5 of a second the gap. Who gets the better exit? And I tell you what, Cynical has really gone over the exit curb there, that raised yellow curb. That might not have been the best exit of the corner. Electric Blade is the fastest lap, and he's closing right fast on Cynical here. He's going to look to the outside as they go down into turn 1, right up alongside the Mercedes, and he's got that one before the braking zone even happens. And so that was that's kind of what I'm thinking of there. Do they take that chicane out and leave it so perhaps, you know, you don't get that final variable in the equation there? Because I don't think had that chicane been there, Cynical would have kept that lead for another lap. Tough to tell. Tough to tell. Noganator 0.6 of a second away from Knuckles ahead. Despite the chaos we had in the early goings, it seems to have calmed down now, which I suppose is a good sight to see. Perhaps if you're one of those drivers in the midfield hoping for a safety car to really shake things up here. And a virtual safety car, I will say, I've seen safety cars thrown out for less. So perhaps the game has done us a favor there. If you can remember the Division 1 race at Japan, we had several questionable safety cars. Out of, I believe, the 5 that we had, maybe only 2 were worth having a safety car. Soy Loco within 0.4 of a second of Noganator here into the final chicane. And Knuckles ahead, who I believe has lost DRS to his teammate of Ray Ray. And Ray Ray in open air as well. Knuckles pulling down to the inside of the circuit. Slayer Eyes catching up to Cynical ahead, but I don't think he's close enough to make the move yet. Here's Soy Loco. He's going to look around the right-hand side. Does he go for both of them? He does! Either that or... yeah, that's exactly what he's done, but behind, Noganator, I believe, has made contact with Knuckles, and there is now debris somewhere on the track over through turn 1. The only question is... say what you will about Soy Loco, it was a great attempt, but... I believe on the way into the corner of turn 1. If I can remember myself, I'm going to take a 5-second pause just to remember myself to throw in that clip of the replay here. Okay, so it's more about 7 seconds, but did Soy Loco go outside of track limits to make the overtake happen? Because it definitely looked to me, as we go 3 wide in that corner, goodness gracious, Jose Miguel, like, sent it down to the inside. Soy Loco and Knuckles both nearly went for a ride. Here's Jose Miguel down to the inside. He does get Soy Loco. Mind you, he has the 5-second penalty as well, still side-by-side with Soy Loco as they go through the chicane. Very odd place to go side-by-side with someone, heavy over the entry curb. Oh, nearly making contact with the tire there. Just my question is, did Soy Loco go off track to make that move happen? It very well looked to me like he had all 4 tires off the circuit, back behind the white line. At first glance, it definitely looked that, as we have a brilliant 4-car battle here. DJ Knickknack in behind. Jose Miguel's had to go really wide, almost in the gravel. Knickknack was trying to make a move at Knuckles, yet Jose Miguel to the outside. As Miguel now is going to look for it down to the inside. Can we have 3 wide into turn 5? They're absolutely going to try it, and Jose Miguel backs off before he ran into the grass, but now we're going to have it. 3 wide through the middle goes Jose Miguel, and he does, at the moment, temporarily get DJ Knickknack, but it's still side-by-side. Up the hill now towards turn 9. Knuckles is going to have a great camera view of this, and DJ Knickknack had to let off the throttle there because he knew if he didn't, he was either going to go spinning or careening into the side of Jose Miguel, but down into turn 10, DJ Knickknack was looking for it there. Miguel's gone wide. The door opened for the Williams here, and he wasn't able to make it happen. So meanwhile, Electric Blade has the lead of the Grand Prix, 7/8 of a second, roughly thereabouts. Cynical was about to be overtaken by Slayer Eyes, and suddenly Slayer Eyes is now a 1.5 seconds outside of Cynical here. So that, very interesting turn of events for the secondary Alpine driver. As we have Jorday trying to overtake Pork Chops here. Remember, Pork Chops needs himself, I wouldn't even say a good race, he needs a consistent one here, because down to the inside looks Jorday. Pork Chops on the cut line at the moment for promotion into Division 2 next season. He has it by about 30 points, but how quickly can that gap be gained and lost in the span of 2 races? That's going to be the big question. And hopefully for Porkchops, he's going to be able to keep that one together, because right now, he's done everything he's needed to do to get into Division 2. Noganator's actually going to bang wheels there. To the outside goes Porkchops. Remember, Noganator has that wing damage from the collision with Knuckles just a couple of laps ago, and now suddenly he's been able to hold on to the spot, really taking up the apex there of turn 8. Porkchops is going to try to find some speed down to the inside. Noganator's gone off of track limits. I think he's gone into the gravel as well, and Porkchops is going to overtake the Haas of Noganator there. Nicely done from the Aston Martin driver. Cynical within DRS range on Electric Blade, but it doesn't look like he's getting any closer to that top spot, does it? That gap has stayed right stagnant at 0.7 of a second, but the more he hangs in there, the better off he's going to be. So here's Jose Miguel. Soy Loco, mind you, has a 7-second gap back to that of Ray Ray up in fourth. Ray Ray's got some clean air ahead of him as well. So Soy Loco is in a very nasty position to be here as Noganator looks, I think, down to the inside on Porkchops. Either that or Porkchops was around the left side. Either way, Porkchops has held on to the 9th position. We'll go back along with that in a minute, but Jose Miguel, who by all means has gone right for it here today. He's going to go down to the inside of Soy Loco. In fact, around the outside through 5. Does he have the spot? Yeah, I think he does. That was a great move from Jose Miguel, but he didn't hold on to it, did he? As now he's side by side with Soy Loco up through a 7 and 8. Up the hill from 9. Soy Loco in pursuit here. Does he have enough to make the move happen with the help of DRS? He's certainly going to be looking for it, and the answer is going to be no into turn 10. Slayer Eyes now within DRS range. That was a big wiggle for Cynical there going through the corner. Interesting stuff here. 0.7 of a second in front of and behind Cynical in that second spot. Not really getting any closer to Electric Blade, nor Slayer Eyes getting any closer to Cynical, really. In fact, I'd say Cynical's making more of a progress to the Alpine in front of him than losing ground to the Alpine behind. Porkchop's going to have DRS here on Knuckles. That was really into the gravel there for Noganator. Mind you, still struggling from that wing damage. How he's been able to hold on to position is actually right impressive. And he's going to let his teammate Ajorde go through here. And that was by all and large the correct decision to make, as Porkchop's now hunting down the McLaren of Knuckles for that 8th spot. 0.7 of a second. 0.3 of a second here for Porkchops and Knuckles. Knuckles goes a little bit wide through 4. Oh, but I believe Johnny Damon's just taking a trip into the grass. And thankfully for him. Oh, but he's beached. And he reset to track as well, which I think by rule now is allowed as long as it is safe to do so. Because typically that would be a penalty, but I believe should your car become stuck or beached, the reset to track is allowed when it is safe, and that fits the criteria for Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon read the rules and was able to take advantage of it and avoid a DNF. And mind you, I believe the Alfa Romeo it was of Jose Miguel didn't really have that opportunity. Well, he did have the opportunity, he chose not to take it. Knowing the rules moment there with Johnny Damon. Nicely done for the Mercedes driver, as by and large he has saved his race there. 1/3 of the way through this Grand Prix, lap 11 of 33. Cynical getting within 0.5 of a second. Electric Blade here. It's Electric Blade, Cynical, Slayerized, Ray Ray Miguel. As it looks now, who's this? I believe is Noganator's gone into the pits. Dead text messages come in as well. Noganator's replaced the front wing, which I think was a decision should have came about 4 laps ago, but you know, you always got to try. Oh, but this is interesting here. Dead text message. What? Disqualified from blocking the exit of the pit lane? What? What? How's he done that? That is, as Call Me Maybe has gone off through turn 3, that I don't know what to think of that one. I really don't. That's, I don't know what to think. That is a call that I've yet to have seen, as it looks like. Who's that? Well, that was then the AlphaTauri they've just passed. As Ray, I think, is going to drive past him now. Yep, there's the AlphaTauri of dead text message. That is, the car has retired itself, and that's on the exit of turn 4. That is a very interesting thing there. Can we look at the race director and actually see what the... No. So, plenty of warnings picked up. Blocking the pit lane is the answer for dead text message there. But how did he do that, is my question. Because he was on exit of the pit lane. I don't know. I have no answer to that as Noganator spins it round then. Thankfully, he's going to keep it off the wall. That one, yikes. Yeah, I don't know. But I think the game has really crapped the bed and then laid down and went to sleep in at that time. Well, it's 0.5 of a second for the lead. The rest of the pack seems to have spread out just a little bit. It looks like a fair portion of the bottom half of the grid has come in for a stop, that being five drivers, 6 including dead text message. So I believe, yeah, everybody else still needs to come in. Johnny Damon upwards, so P11 up to our leaders here. Remember, Ray, the only driver who started on the hards. So you'd have to assume that he's been doing okay so far. You could see some graining on the right front there, just a little bit as you went through the corner. Perhaps it was the camera angle. Yeah, you can see it on the left front there of, see it right there on the left front of MMR Slayerized. As we go into turn 10 now, Cynical's done a great job of holding on to the back of Electric Blade here. It has to be said. It was great for Electric Blade to get around him, and considering that the move that Cynical made to get around the Alpines in the first place. He's done okay to hold on to Electric Blade here, but it doesn't look like... Yeah, that was a big wiggle there going through the final corner. And maybe is that where he's losing the time? It's hard to tell. DRS in play for Cynical, but it's not enough. Not enough to hold on there. Slayerized falling back of the top 2. Not really pressuring Cynical or his teammate ahead. So perhaps are we at the point now where the tires are just simply at the stage to which pushing and being aggressive is not the move? Are we going to have to wait for the round of stops to be made? Certainly seems like that's going to be the turn of events. That's going to play out here, unless we have a safety car or virtual safety car, something. At the moment, this is the closest battle on track. Cynical doing his best, trying to stay within reach of Electric Blade here. I believe we have Gabagai and Noganator within a couple of tenths of each other here. Noganator's, that's a big spin for him. Wow, and what a job. What driving there from Gabagai to somehow react in time to avoid the spinning Noganator. That was coming off of, I believe, is turn 14. No, turn 13. Yeah. I'm not sure. The corner before the final chicane, let's say that. Into the pits now comes the top 2. The third driver of Slayerized has decided to stay out. Interesting decision here. We're going to have the hards going on for both the drivers. We can go ahead and assume that. They won't be losing that many positions either, which is going to be nice. Although, I believe we've just had Alex. Oh, and he is right into the middle of the track there. We can go ahead and assume he's hit that yellow curb going through turn 8. That raised yellow curb that you'll also find on the exit of the final corner. We're going to go ahead and assume that was the culprit. Oh, as Johnny Damon... As my frame rate's gone terrible, Johnny Damon, has he beached it again and then reset to track again? That he has. And we now have the Red Bull of Soy Loco, who, by the way, was sitting P4 at the time. And he is gone... Oh, but see, that, I don't think, is the safe way to do it. So we've had the reset to track a couple of times now. Johnny Damon went for it twice now. Soy Loco just did. But... Did he impede Pork Chops is the question. Because Pork was going through that corner, and by and large it looked to me like Pork had to take a basic maneuver to not run into the back of Soy Loco there. Remember, the new ruling is that you're allowed to reset the track, especially, you won't find it many times, but at this track in particular, you will find getting beached more often than not. And so that is going to be the case. So I think that's why the rule change was put in place, was for this Grand Prix in particular. And it is only in the case of if you're beached. Like we saw with Johnny Damon, like we saw with Soy Loco. But you're only allowed to do it when it's safe to do so. And Soy Loco reset to track in turn 3. And less than 2 seconds later, Pork Chops was coming around the corner and very closely evaded a collision. That one will have to be looked at by the stewards, I'd have to assume. Hards going on for Soy Loco. Pork Chops, he's putting on the hards as well. Remember, Ray started on the hards, so he currently leads the Grand Prix. Jose Miguel, who, remember, got disqualified in the qualifying session, currently finds himself second. Cynical now, within 0.6 of a second of Electric Blade. Will he have enough to reclaim the lead? Don't let the overcast skies fool you here. We are not in any position for rain today. It will clear up again by the end of the race. So no threat of rain in sight today here in Spain, so don't let the clouds fool you, because we know it's not going to. Jose Miguel into the pit lane. The only driver to take the mediums 15 laps. Now this is my question, does his teammate of Alex come in as well at the end of this one? I would assume he could. Ray on track still. Remember, the hards, give or take, will go about, I think, 26 laps, roughly. But let's look at the tire wear. Yeah, I don't think it'll be less than 26. I think maybe 20 is going to be the answer for Ray. As you can see, the graining on the right front there. Does it happen on the left front as well? No, not really. It is very much more in the right front, as you can kind of see the two shine differentials there. A little bit on the left side, not as much, I'd say. Cynical within 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second of the lead that Electric Blade will eventually inherit. So this is when Cynical will have to do the work. Behind Slayerized, naturally he chose the overcut, didn't quite work. Pork Chops up to P8. It looks like Jorday once again is going to be making an effort at that Aston Martin there. Probably once they go through DRS. Closing in this battle here. Down the pit straight they go. Remember, this will be the eventual battle for the lead. Cynical is about a 10th slower that previous time by. Again, where is Cynical losing the time? It has to be through Sector 3, and more specifically that final chicane, final corner even. Because all throughout the lap, he's been getting closer and closer to him. As you can see now, that, well, it's staying rather stagnant now. On the straight line speed, it kind of looks like Cynical's got him. But Electric Blade is pulling out to enough of a lead to where it's kind of not really in any trouble. Knuckles has replaced a front wing as well. I didn't notice Knuckles had the front wing damage, although he did have that moment with Soy Loco, and I believe it was with Soy Loco and Noganator earlier on, so maybe I didn't see that he had wing damage. Pork Chop's just been overtaken by Jorday, getting into turn 1. Of course I had to miss it. But it looked a great maneuver. Coming out of the pits now is Knuckles. He's going to find himself within this battle between Brian Mosser and Alex eventually. He's not really there. Pork Chops now trying to find the inside, perhaps, of Jorday for the 7th spot, trying to reclaim it. Through turn 5 they go. It looks like Pork Chop's got a match for pace. That was a shot to the diffuser there. Hopefully for Pork there's no wing damage involved. That was a shot. Up through turns 7 and 8 now. All clean and all well. Down the pit straight, once again, we can see Cynical not really contesting for Electric Blade. Either that or he's not really pressing the battery life as much. Can we actually get a look at that? Well, he's down to 48. Electric Blade down to 37. So all signs would typically point to Cynical catching up to Electric Blade, but it's just not the case. It's an interesting turn of events. Into the final chicane go Jordy and Pork. Let's see if anybody's able to get an advantage or make a mistake. And it looks like they're going to hold on to it quite nicely. Porkchop's going to have DRS here. Hasn't touched his battery in a fair minute. Coming down the pit straight now. Jordy's at 44%. Pork is at 84%. Down into turn 1. I think Pork thinks that he could perhaps make the move without. Does he... See, this is the question. Does he think that he can take Jordy into a corner rather than down the straight with DRS? I think that's what Pork is looking out here for, because at the moment, he's not using the battery. He's staying within DRS, but he's not getting close enough to where he can challenge for it. Into turn 5, I think at the moment is the place where Porkchops looks most comfortable. Let's go along with him here. Cynical, for just a moment, was within 0.5 of a second of Electric Blade. Another bit of contact to the Haas there of Jordy goes Porkchop, so that's the second time. He did it last time round as well. I believe that is a yellow flag. Who's it for? It's Alex letting Ray past. Yeah, okay, that one was a little scary there for a moment. Jordy choosing the wide route through turn 10. Porkchops shows the tighter line. Jose Miguel's got the fastest lap, 1:21.048. Into the chicane now. Porkchop's really testing the brakes here, really trying to brake as late as he can to make up any advantage that he can over Jordy. 0.5 of a second the gap. DRS enabled. Here comes Porkchops using that battery life as well. This is what he was saving up for. He's waiting for a chance to make his attack. Here he goes. Does he have enough time to get it into turn 1? I think he will. It's very close. It's side by side between himself and the Haas through the first couple of corners. And I think, does he have him? Jordy's going to have the outside. He'll have better acceleration, assuming he doesn't go outside track limits. It's going to be side by side, perhaps into 4. No, but Jordy was able to hold on still until now. Porkchops down to the inside, and Porkchops has had much better speed through Sector 2 so far, and Porkchops finally making that maneuver happen. Brilliant stuff from Porkchops, wearing down Jordy until the mistake was made. There wasn't even that much of a mistake, really. It was just great offense from Porkchops. Jordy did some really solid defense as well, let's not forget. But Porkchops just got the better of him that time. Very good battle between those two, and it has been that way all race long. So far, Cynical now within, 0.6 of a second. Jose Miguel sets the fastest lap again. Although he's not necessarily closing in on that of Slayer Eyes and Cynical ahead. Porkchops is pulling away from Jordy. That gap now to 1.5 seconds roughly. 0.6 of a second, the battle for the eventual lead of the Grand Prix. Ray has, I would say, another 6 laps to go on the tires at most. Let's keep an eye on what he does. You can see the graining now on the right front tire. Very, very noticeable. So he'll be struggling with grip. Noganator 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. We look at the gap back from the leader. Ray currently, he's got 8, almost 9 seconds and closing. Actually, no, he's expanding now. About 9 seconds back to Electric Blade in second. 14 back to Slayer Eyes in 4th. So I think Ray could come out in P5 or P5 here and be all good with it. That's what I'm going to go ahead and guess. He's going to come out P5 when he takes a stop. Got Johnny Damon looking to make a move on Call Me Maybe here, perhaps. Jose Miguel fastest lap again. He's turning some laps in that Alfa Romeo, and he's getting closer to Slayer Eyes as well. Slayer Eyes, mind you, getting even further away from the battle with his teammate in the Mercedes. Johnny Damon looking for a move here around Call Me Maybe, potentially. DRS activated in favor of the Mercedes. Does he have it in the turn 10? The answer is going to be no. I think he's going to wait for it down to the pit straight. You can't really make the move into this corner anymore. You know, back when you had the longer braking zone, you could have the ability to outbrake the car in front of you. That option isn't really available anymore. It's a wide... Oh, but what's this? Johnny Damon. Oh! Hang on just a minute. What has happened there? Oh, and by goodness, he's plowed into Alex. My goodness, we're going to have a safety car here. And we do. What has happened there? Johnny Damon initially looked as if he had missed the... Did he miss the corner? And then tried to get back on the throttle? It's absolutely what it looked like happened, but now we have a huge situation. Car's on track. Ray, I think, is going to get a free pit stop here. Safety car on track. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go step aside just a minute. I'm going to go downstairs, get my laptop charger so I can plug in and get the championship standings as it stands. Let's take you through the math now while we still have a little bit of time here. And by the way, we also have Ray, Slayerized, and Alex who have chosen to go on the softs whilst everybody else has gone on the mediums. Safety car is in this lap. As it stands now, Porkchop's still that third position at 600 points he'll have at the moment. DJ Knickknack is second up behind him at 565. So it's a 35-point gap right now between the final, between Porkchop's third in the standings and Knickknack, who at the moment will go into fourth. Remember, third is the cut line for the final promotion spot into Division 2 next season. We still have a round to go, by the way, next week out at Bahrain. But as Ray gets the field up to speed here, how much of a play is this made? Is DJ Knickknack getting around Jose Miguel there, and I believe he's actually going to go ahead and return the position, and then another, as Slayerized has gone over Jose Miguel there. Down into turn one they go. Electric Blade was able to kind of make up some ground on Ray, but will Ray have enough tire pace to beat Electric Blade there? Oh, heavy over the curb is Jorday, who I believe Soy Loco may or may not have forced off track there. Was hard to say from the camera angle that we were given in the time that I caught up to it. Porkchop's here. He's within a couple of tenths of Knickknack. He's going to be looking down to the inside. Does he have anything? He's going to switch back to the left side. Remember, he loves the beginning of the Sector 2 here. Still looking forward as Porkchops. And he doesn't have it yet. But my goodness, he might still be making the move. It's Brian Mosser getting around Jorday before they get into turn 7. Only a few laps of racing left here. 7/10 of a second the gap. Ray seems to be, at the moment, pulling away from Electric Blade. Ray pulled the overcut to perfection. He stayed out on the hards. He started on the hards. Didn't get phased by the virtual safety car and the cars behind him. He waited his turn and now has the lead of the Grand Prix. And by the way, it seems to be in convincing fashion as well. 1 second the gap. And I tell you what, I don't expect the softs to wear away that quickly, that fast. Well, that didn't make sense what I just said, but it's okay. Anyways, here's Cynical. Does he have anything for Electric Blade? Remember, no DRS until next time around. So we'll have to wait and see. Soy Loco might have a look to Porkchops here. He had a little peek down to the inside. Wasn't close enough to be able to commit to the maneuver, but at least he's letting Porkchops know he is there, which is going to be a very important thing. It looks like towards the back, the Knuckles falling off, it looks like, is that Homie, maybe, and Alex are battling it out here. That's an interesting thing. Alex, is he a lap down? I think he is as well, so that's an interesting turn of events. Soy Loco getting closer to Porkchops here. Really got close to the diffuser. With 5.5 laps to go now. Who's able to come out on top here in Barcelona? Jose Miguel has picked up 3 seconds of time penalties. Oh, what does that put him at? Well, he's at 3. And that is going to be a very unhelpful penalty for him, as he'll be losing a fair few positions at this rate. Brian Mosser really looking forward on Soy Loco now. Another car has entered this fray for eventually the 7th position. Blue flag's ahead for some reason, not really sure why that's the case. But we're going to have DRS this time by Brian Mosser doing his best, but Soy Loco has had a much better exit in the final chicane. Now as they head down the pit straight, it looks as if Brian Mosser's just not going to be there to make that move happen. Slayerized might have a look at Cynical here in a moment, and that wasn't the case. Mind you, Slayerized went out on the soft tires as well, and I believe he's made up 2 positions since the start of the safety car as well, which is good for him. Ray on the softs, but here's the thing. Electric Blade coming into the picture now. Oh, and Ray has spun it around! The leader of the Grand Prix has spun it all by himself! My goodness me! How and why? Oh. Oh. That one. That one hurts, guys. That one hurts to see. That is really all there is to say about that one. That one hurts. Ray, by all means, by and large, had this race in the bag. The strategy was correct. And I think the moment that Electric Blade put pressure on him, unfortunately, he got out ahead of himself and he spun the car going through turn 4. Yeah, I've been there as a driver. I remember in an F2 season not too long ago, I was leading a race at Austria. It was one of my first races on wheel, and we were about midway through the Grand Prix, and I had about a 5-second lead, and I spun it all the way. So I definitely knows what he feels like there, and I believe, just for sympathy, he may have spun it out going into the corner. He's reset the track again, as Slayer Eyes is going to be looking for here on Cynical as they go through 4. Slayer Eyes trying the outside. Does he have it? No, not yet. He's going to have the outside through 5. And Cynical was able to hold on to the position all the while. Electric Blade, I think, really might be taking this win here. As whilst his teammate in the Mercedes battle it out behind, he's getting ever so closer to this Grand Prix win. Now, teetering on the brink of 2.5 seconds between himself and the win. Here's Slayer Eyes with DRS. It's the first overtake that we've seen into turn 10 all day. And I tell you what, he's going to hold it down to the inside through 11 and 12, whatever one this is now. Still there. Still side by side. Contact made. By goodness, Jose Miguel's in this as well. We didn't even recognize that. Oh, but Jose Miguel has spun it. And he had hit that yellow raised curb that you see on your screen there. The car had bottomed out on it. These are the same curb they place on exit of this final corner here that we're coming up to, and also through turns 7 and 8. That really is detrimental and can very much spin your car out, and that is exactly what Jose Miguel had spun on there, and that is really unfortunate. There's Gabagai, might be making a move here at Jordan momentarily. Oh, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on and make a move here. We're going to have 2 laps to go this next time by, so 2.5 laps to go now. Electric Blade out to a 3.5 second lead, as I believe Slayer... Oh, that's big contact, and Gabagai has gone right into the back tire there. And Gabagai suddenly... Well, I think his day's going to be going from bad to work, as Ray, I believe, has just spun it going through turn 3. Yeah, it looks like he's getting it back up to grips here, but that was not ideal to say the least. We have another yellow flag, that one being Knuckles has spun it round. So, a very day to forget. Mind you, Pork Chops has fallen down to P11 here. I don't even remember when this one took place, but it has. Big wiggle there for, I believe that was Gabagai, trying to make a move on, was it either Noganator or Jorday? I don't know who's back, that's the back marker there of Alex. 2 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Here's Slayer Eyes, going to be looking down to the inside of Cynical into the corner. Doesn't make it happen. Cynical was able to defend the corner nicely, and I'm afraid Slayer Eyes is going to have to wait again, and I really don't think Slayer Eyes is going to be able to hold on and make the move happen through the DRS coming out of turn 9. He almost had it a couple of laps ago, but again, it's a very difficult corner now to make something happen. Call Me Maybe might be looking for it here on Gabagai down on the inside. Remember, Gabagai had the incident not long ago. He's missing part of the front wing. Pork Chops is getting in on this as well. He might be making a move at Gabagai here. Remember, Gabagai also in this battle for the promotion spot. Pork Chops, at the moment, well, it's tough to tell. Knickknacks up to 4th. That may have really kind of hurt the progress that Pork was making. He is going to get past Gabagai here. I'm fairly confident in saying as they get into turn 10. He's taking it around the outside, so yeah, Pork, I think, is going to be having 10th place here. Not bad, but considering... Well, here's Brian Mosser. We're along with him. He's got Knickknack ahead. Nick Knack's got to hold on here. He might be in a position to really make some ground on Porkchop's potential case. As down to the inside goes, well, that was interesting because Cynical's driver's hand went up in the air. As Nick Knack, he's been overtaken. No, he's battling with Soy Loco. Soy Loco, I believe, may have just been tapped there. It got to the inside tire. Well, I'm not really sure what happened between Cynical and Slayer Eyes. Someone's unhappy, and Brian Mosser's going around. Oh, he's almost gotten back on the racing line there. Nick Knack has now lost position to Soy Loco. Interesting here, and he's got to get that one back as well. Porkchop's currently sitting P10. Slayer Eyes at this moment in time looks like he may have his promotion into Division 2 locked up, assuming he can hold it together, assuming the math is correctly. We'll go over it at the end of the race. Slayer Eyes sitting, waiting for his opportunity. But I think the big story here, it's Electric Blade, who he didn't get the proper introduction to being a champion last time out. So coming out of the final corner, it's Electric Blade 93, and he is champion of Division 3. Cynical finishes second, and Slayer Eyes does take third. And there you go, Electric Blade. When we weren't certain of the math last week, we're certain of it now. Congratulations. Nick Knack, fifth. Oh, I think, what's happened with Noganator? Has he dropped spot? Yeah, I'm going to assume it's because of the penalty. Electric Blade taking the win. And, well, yeah, that one hurt to watch. So after it's all said and done here in Spain, it's Electric Blade taking yet another win this season. It's Cynical in second, MMR Slayer Eyes third, Soy Loco fourth, it's Nick Knack in fifth, Jorday sixth, Call Me Maybe in seventh, Brian Mosser eighth, Porkchops in ninth, 10th is Noganator, 11th is Jose Miguel, 12th is Gabagai, 13th Knuckles, 14th is Ray Ray, 15th is Alex, a lap down unfortunately for Johnny Damon and Dead Text Message. They did not see the end of this Grand Prix. Well, it's going to be all to play for next season, next weekend in many, many different divisions, including this one for the promotion spots. Next week, we head to Bahrain. Hotspot, thank you for joining us on the call. We will see you then.